There's a new tactical first-person shooter game that just came out not too long ago that's a combination of Valorant, Rainbow Six Siege, and even a little bit of Call of Duty. The thing is, you've probably never heard of this game before. The game is called Havoc, and honestly, I've been playing a good amount of it recently. So today I want to do a review on the game. I'm going to break down all the good, alright, and bad things about this game. As well as, I'm going to answer the question, should you play this game? But first, let me explain what Havoc even is. As I said, Havoc is a new tactical first-person shooter game. Its core game mode is called Bomb Defusal. This game mode is very similar to Valorant or CSGO 2, where the goal is to either attack or defend a bomb site. At the start of the match, there's a buy phase where you can purchase weapons, grenades, devices, armor, and more. What's really cool is you could even buy attachments for your weapons, as well as different optics. The reason you want to buy an optic is because unlike Valorant or CSGO 2, where you're more accurate when shooting at the hip, in Havoc, it's actually better to ADS. For most gunfights, you want to ADS your weapon to have the best accuracy possible, unless the enemy is really up close, then you'll want to hip fire. Other than that though, everything else is just what you would expect in a game mode like this. You only get one life per round, and as you progress through each round, you'll earn more money to be able to buy better things. The winner of the game is the first to win 10 rounds, and that's pretty much the gist of Bomb Defusal. Other than the Bomb Defusal game mode, there's also TDM, Free-for-all, Gun Game, Snipers Only, and Capture the Flag. I'm sure you already know what these other game modes are, so I won't go into explaining all of them. As you can imagine, within TDM, Free-for-all, and Capture the Flag, you're still able to purchase any weapon you want. The only difference is you could buy whatever weapon you want as soon as you spawn in within these game modes. Whereas with Bomb Defusal, you have to earn enough money to buy what you want, so there's more thought put into what you should and shouldn't purchase. The big twist that makes this game really stand out though, is the destruction you could cause on the map. There's 3 kinds of walls in Havoc: a soft wooden wall, a hard brick wall, and the regular old indestructible walls. The soft wooden walls you're able to destroy pretty easily, as you could just shoot it and it will put a hole in the wall. But then the brick walls you can't just shoot through. You have to use C4 to blow them up. What makes things more interesting is you could purchase wall reinforcements that can reinforce both the wood and brick walls, which forces whoever is trying to get through that wall to now have to use 2 C4s to be able to fully destroy the wall. So pretty much it mostly plays like Valorant or CSGO 2, but yet also has elements of Rainbow Six Siege and Call of Duty. Anyhow, that's pretty much Havoc in a nutshell. So now I want to get into all the good that Havoc has to offer. Firstly, I really like the gunplay within the game. All the guns have their own unique recoil pattern you have to learn and master. While something like the pistols, shotgun, or sniper are easier to control, the ARs and SMGs are a little bit harder to use. Especially the ARs in particular, as the SCAR has a good amount of recoil, and the AK has the most recoil in the game, seeing as it hits the hardest. Additionally, I think this game has some pretty good movement. Running, jumping, and walking all feel good. The only form of movement I dislike is the strafing, but I'll talk about that later. Honestly, I really do like the ability to actually run in a game like this. You can't really run at all in Valorant or CSGO 2, but surprisingly it works well in this game, at least in my opinion. It kind of shakes things up and allows for a faster approach to this kind of game, but still holds that tactical element, as you can't just be running around the map the whole time, as the enemy will hear you. Furthermore, I like that this game offers multiple different game modes to play. While bomb defusal is the main game mode that most people will want to play, it's nice that this game offers some other stuff too. I think all the game modes are super fun to play and allow for more variety. Plus, it's better to get used to things like the weapons or the maps in game modes where you're able to respawn, as you're able to test out different things without worrying about having only one life. Respawn game modes are also good for warming up to get ready for a game of bomb defusal, as you're able to make sure your aim is on point and ready to go. So it's great that they offer respawn game modes. Likewise, I really like the different weapons they have within the game. While I already talked about how the weapons feel, I figured it's good to mention the variety of weapons there are as well. There's everything you would expect, from pistols, SMGs, ARs, shotguns, to a sniper. It's good that there's a variety of stuff to choose from and that they all function differently. What's nice too is each weapon has a purpose. There's really an option for everyone, as you can make decisions based on how much ammo you want, how accurate the gun is, or even how powerful the gun is. The only thing I'd say that's missing is a marksman rifle and a burst rifle. If they add those, then the game would have every weapon you'll ever need. Moreover, there's the destruction within the game, which I already touched on a little bit earlier. It's honestly done really well in this game. I wouldn't say it's on the level of Rainbow Six Siege, but what is offered in Havoc is good. You could really get creative with the destruction by making doorways that weren't there before and lines of sight that weren't there before. The destruction can honestly be super important to how rounds can play out, as it can win or lose you the game. Finally, the last thing that's good about Havoc is something small, but is definitely worth mentioning. On some of the maps, there's locked doors that you have to shoot the locks off of in order to open them. I actually like this feature, as it forces you to have to make quick decisions. Picture this. Let's say you're the last alive and defending on A, but the bomb gets planted on B. So then you have to rotate over, and on your way you encounter a locked door. From there, you have a few options. You could shoot the lock and potentially reveal your location, you could find a different way to go, or you could trick the enemy by shooting the lock, but then going a different way. Whatever you decide, you have to make the decision quickly though, and that adds a level of intensity to the game that I really like. Something as small as shooting a locked door could win or lose you a round, or even the game. Okay, so now that I've talked about all the good things that Havoc offers, it's time to talk about all the alright things about this game. These are things that aren't necessarily the worst, but aren't necessarily the best either. To start things off, there's the maps. While the maps that are offered in the game are actually good in my opinion, the problem is there's not a lot of them. There's 4 maps in total, and only 2 of them can be played on bomb defusal. Again, while I think the maps provided are good, and I enjoy playing on them, there's just not enough maps in the game, so it forces you to have to play the same 2 maps if you play bomb defusal, or the same 4 maps if you play the other game modes over and over again. Additionally, I think the shooting range that is provided needs some serious work. It's nice that the shooting range is provided, but it sucks that it's very bare bones. All you're able to do is spawn a few bots in and shoot them. That's it. You can't adjust the time you shoot them for. There's no score provided after shooting them. It doesn't tell you how accurate you are. You can't adjust how far the bots are or how many there are, and you can't even refill your ammo when you run out. It's pretty much as bare bones as the Call of Duty shooting range, but at least with Call of Duty shooting range, you could go into it whenever. But in Havoc, you could only go into it while at the main menu. You you can't go into it while queuing for a match at all. Furthermore, there's the attachments. I know I said how cool of an addition they are earlier, and I wasn't lying. I really do like the attachment system. But here's the problem. You could pretty much only buy optics for your weapons. Now some people are cool with just that, but personally I think it would be even better if you could buy multiple attachments for your weapons, such as grips, muzzles, mags, stocks, and maybe even a laser. I definitely don't think they have to go to the extent of Call of Duty's attachment system, where there's like 300 attachments you could choose from for one weapon, but at the very least there could be 3 to 4 options you could choose from per category. Likewise, I think the settings within the game are lacking a lot of stuff. There's just not enough customization options to help tailor your experience. There needs to be more quality of life settings for the game. For example, a controller option, more detailed graphics options, and more detailed sensitivity options. There's also smaller stuff that can be added, like additional audio options and more HUD options. Finally, the last thing that's alright about Havoc is the cosmetics. There's honestly not much you could get for cosmetics, other than a few things you can unlock or buy. What really sucks though is the stuff that you can unlock doesn't look that good at all, and the stuff you can buy is terribly overpriced. Plus, all there is for cosmetics is just weapon skins, and that's it. I feel like they could add character skins, charms, and maybe even calling cards or emblems as well. Now I know cosmetics aren't a big deal for some people, but I know there's definitely people out there who really love cosmetics and want cool stuff. Alright, now that I've talked about all the good and alright things about Havoc, it's time to talk about all the bad things about this game. This is stuff that is severely hurting the game and needs to be somehow fixed ASAP. Firstly, there's the biggest issue, which is the player base. Unfortunately, it's extremely small, as not many people play the game at all because not a lot of people know about it. So it's hard to find matches a lot of the time and to get into full lobbies. Personally, I just create my own server most of the time because there's little to none available, so I'm kind of forced to. Then even upon making a server, I still have to wait a few minutes to get people to join. What's worse is usually there's not many people that join, so it takes a few matches of playing with 1 to 2 other people before I could start to actually get a full lobby. So it's hard to even play the game, all because of such a low player count. The only way I could see this getting fixed is by advertising the game more and getting bigger content creators to play the game and either stream it or make a video on it. That way more people will want to try out the game. Additionally, while I don't run into them a lot, there are cheaters in this game, and I think it's because I'm pretty sure this game doesn't even have a working anti-cheat yet. So cheaters are kind of able to blatantly do it with no consequences at all. Obviously, I don't need to explain why cheaters are bad for a game like this, but it will especially hurt this game because of how low the player count is. So if possible, they need to implement some sort of anti-cheat into the game. Furthermore, in my opinion, this game would be so much better if you were able to be accurate while strafing. That's kind of the biggest issue with the strafing, is when you try to do it while shooting, your bullets hit everything but the target. Honestly, with the ability to ADS in this game, you should be able to be accurate while strafing. If not, then what's the point of ADSing? You might as well change it to firing at the hip at that point, because at least then you could strafe easier. Obviously, with games like Spectrum Divide having the ability to not only ADS, but be accurate while strafing, it's something that works well and is beneficial for the game, seeing as how people like it. So if there is one major change that could be done to the gameplay, it should be to make it so you could be accurate while strafing, because it will make the movement feel so much better and make getting into gunfights so much more enjoyable. Finally, the last thing that is bad about Havoc is the power-ups system they have. While it seems like a cool idea on paper, it doesn't work well within the game itself, in my opinion. Pretty much how the power-ups work is when you get to a certain amount of kills, you unlock the ability to get a super powerful weapon. The first weapon you're able to get is a minigun, then you could get a rocket launcher, and then you can get a railgun. Obviously, in a one-life game mode that should reward being strategic and tactical, you shouldn't have the ability to get a super powerful weapon that can wipe out an entire team. That just gives the people that are able to get one of the power-ups practically a free round, as they are given broken weapons that are super easy to use and crazy powerful. If they want to keep the power-ups in the game, then my suggestion is to only put them in the respawn game modes. Even in those game modes, I really don't like the power-ups, but at least I have the ability to respawn in them, unlike in bomb defusal, where I only have 1 life per round. It really sucks losing my life to a broken weapon that outguns me. It's honestly unfair. In conclusion, Havoc is overall a pretty good game. However, it definitely needs more time to develop, and it has a few things that need to be fixed, and it could use some balancing. But I can't deny that so far, the game is fun to play and has a lot of potential. There's a lot of good things that this game offers, like the gunplay, movement, game modes, destruction, and more. However, there are some alright things like the maps, shooting range, attachments, and more. Then unfortunately, there's some bad things like the player count, cheaters, not being able to be accurate while strafing, and more. Honestly though, for a game that's made by a super small development team, they have done some good work so far. So to answer the question, should you play Havoc? My answer is yes. You should at very least give it a try, as there's nothing to lose. The game is completely free to play, and there's no denying it is fun to play. Sure, it's not the next big thing that will revolutionize the gaming industry, but it's something fun to play here and there. I have hopes this game continues to develop and grow, and that someday it could be something great. Anyhow, that's it for me. What are your thoughts on Havoc? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, then please give it a like. And if you want more content like this, then please subscribe. Have a great day.